As mentioned, following the G20 Summit in Rome yesterday in Scotland began the annual UN Climate Conference. World leaders are in Glasgow alongside tens of thousands of negotiators, government representatives, businesses, and citizens for 12 days of talks. The Vatican will also be present at the conference with its delegation headed by the Secretary of State. EWTN News Rome correspondent Colm Flynn joins us now. Colm, great to see you. So what can you tell us about the G20 meeting in Rome over the weekend?
Good evening, Tracy. Well, it was an extremely busy weekend here in Rome as the city was playing host to the G20 meeting, and leaders from all around the world were here in the Eternal City, the first time they've been back together in person since the pandemic began. On the agenda was the talk of global energy, economic recovery, and of course, the big issue of climate change. Now, two big absentees, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. And this is quite significant, Tracy, as China has had some of the highest CO2 emissions in the world. In fact, it was reported earlier this year that their CO2 emissions were higher than all other developed countries combined. And from Moscow, Vladimir Putin sent a video message here to Rome in which he blasted the G20 countries for not accepting and approving the Russian Sputnik COVID-19 vaccine. He said this was because of dishonest competition and urged health ministers from around the globe to reconsider.
Well, Colm, speaking of President Joe Biden, we know that he met with Pope Francis a few days ago, and the Holy Father also met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What more can you tell us about that?
That's right. Prime Minister Modi was one of three world leaders who took time out of their G20 schedule to meet with Pope Francis, the other being, of course, as you mentioned, the United States President Joe Biden and South Korean President Moon. Now, India's Prime Minister Modi, he came here to Vatican City on Saturday to meet with the Pope. The two leaders, one leading the smallest state in the world, Vatican City, the other the second largest country in the world, India, they met for around an hour and had what was described as a very warm exchange. And according to the office of the Indian Prime Minister, he extended a personal invitation to Pope Francis to visit India. Pope Francis, in return, accepted the invitation. And the last time a pope visited the country was in 1999. That's when Pope John Paul II visited New Delhi. There are about 20 million Roman Catholics in India. That's about 1.5% of the population of 1.3 billion people. Some 80% of India's population, they are Hindu.
And Colm, before I let you go, as we know, the focus for world leaders now turns from that meeting in Italy a little further north in Scotland. We are talking about the COP26 Summit, which has gotten underway. Talk a little bit more about that for us.
Of course, Tracy, that's right. The COP26 Climate Change Summit, it kicked off yesterday in Glasgow, Scotland, and at this there will be around 120 heads of state attending, including President Biden, 25,000 people attending overall. China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin have said that they will not be attending this conference also. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he spoke this morning where he said, quote, "The anger and impatience of the world would be uncontainable unless we make this COP26 in Glasgow the moment that we get real about climate change," end quote. Pope Francis, of course, he was scheduled to attend, but that trip was cancelled, and instead the Pope sent a video message. And in his place, Vatican Secretary of State Pietro Parolin is attending. And yesterday, during his Sunday Angelus address in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis urged people to pray so that the, quote, cry of the earth is heard at the climate conference. The Pope said that he hoped this conference would offer effective answers and, Tracy, give hope for future generations.
All right. Colm Flynn, EWTN News Rome correspondent, reporting for us this evening. Thank you so much, Colm.
Thank you, Tracy.